Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg is going down this Saturday, and I have to say this is a really interesting matchup. A really good fight, but I'm going to go with Jan Blachowicz to win this fight. Now, let's be real, there are definitely concerns with picking Blachowicz here. He hasn't fought since the Alex Pereira fight, which was like 3 years ago, I believe. That's a long layoff. He was supposed to fight, he got injured, had shoulder surgery, and now he's returning in his 40s. And let's not sugarcoat it, being in your 40s in MMA, especially in the light heavyweight division, is not ideal. Reaction times are slow, durability can fade, and injuries pile up. We've seen it happen to legends of the games, guys like Shogun, Rashad Evans, and even Daniel Cormier. One day you're a champ and the next you're looking like a step slower, unable to pull the trigger like you used to. So yeah, I get why people are skeptical about Jan here. Maybe this is the fight where he looks old. Maybe Ulberg, being the younger, fresher fighter, is going to be too fast, too sharp, and too active for him. That's definitely a possibility. But at the same time, we saw Glover Teixeira win a world title at the age of 42, and that's what gives me confidence in Blachowicz. His style has aged well. He's not a guy who relies on crazy movement or explosiveness. He's a methodical, measured, and he knows how to manage a fight. Plus, his defense is criminally underrated. He checks leg kicks better than almost anyone. He absorbs shots well and doesn't take unnecessary risks. However, I want to establish that Carlos Ulberg absolutely has a path to victory in this fight, and I wouldn't be shocked if he pulled it off. The biggest thing he has going for him is speed. He's just way faster than Jan. His footwork is better too. His hands are quicker, and overall movement is a lot more fluid. If he can keep this fight at range and stay mobile, he can make Jan look old out there. Another big factor is his volume. Ulberg throws in combinations and he doesn't just rely on just one shot. He mixes things up well, which could be a problem for Jan, who sometimes starts slow and takes his time to get into rhythm. If Ulberg can win the early rounds, it'll put pressure on Jan to play catch up, and at an age of 40 years old, that's not where you want to be. And that's the thing, Ulberg is also a very smart striker. He doesn't waste shots, his jab is sharp, and his left hook is dangerous. He's not just throwing wild, hoping for a knockout, he's calculated. If he can get Jan biting on feints and create openings, he can land clean, especially if Jan struggles to keep up with the pace. Now, there are some weaknesses in Jan's game that Ulberg can take advantage of. First off is age. Jan is in his 40s, hasn't fought in 3 years, and is coming off shoulder surgery. We don't know if he's going to look good or look the same out there. He could be slower, less durable, or just not as sharp as he used to be. If Ulberg pressures him early and doesn't let him settle in, he could make Jan look every bit of his age. Another thing is that Jan sometimes struggles with fast technical strikers. He's great at dealing with power-based guys, but when he fought someone like Adesanya, he had trouble early on. Sure, he won that fight by mixing in takedowns, but on the feet, Izzy was landing clean before Jan adjusted. If Ulberg could do something similar, keep Jan reacting and hesitating, he could take over in the striking exchanges. But in the same time, Ulberg's biggest challenge is dealing with Jan's leg kicks and durability. If he doesn't check those leg kicks or he slows down late, that's where things can get dangerous. But if he stays sharp, keep moving, and make Jan fight at his pace, he's got a real shot to win this fight. But in the same time, I have my doubts because Ulberg had a really close fight with Volkan Ozdemir. He won, but a lot of people were calling it a robbery. Before that, he was running through guys like Alonzo Menefiel, knocking people out in the first round. Then, when he finally stepped up into competition against the seasonal vets, he had competitive fights. That's telling me something. Now, he's going back against Blachowicz, a guy that's easy to overlook. People see him as a slow, hunched over, with that weird, awkward, big body style. He's been inactive, coming off an injury, and yeah, he's an older guy, but you just had a competitive fight with Volkan Ozdemir, and now you're fighting this guy? And let's not forget, Ulberg got his legs chopped down against Dan Chun. He got dropped in the first round. Chun wasn't doing anything special, he was just hammering the legs with full force kicks. He wasn't mixing it up, wasn't setting things up with his hands, just a jab and a hard leg kick over and over, and Ulberg had no answer. If Dan Chun is landing those at will, what do you think Blachowicz is going to do? Now, I will say this, there's always a possibility that Blachowicz injury slows him down. Maybe this is the fight where he starts looking washed, but I said that before. I thought he was going to look like that before the Rakic fight. I thought Rakic was going to bully him. That Blachowicz looked terrible against Glover Teixeira. That age had finally caught up to him. And what happened? He destroyed Rakic's legs and ended the fight. If Dan Chun's slow, predictable thigh kicks were landing at 100%, Blachowicz is going to butcher Ulberg's legs. And once those kicks take effect, Ulberg's movement is gone. Now, don't get me wrong, Ulberg has power, that left hook is real, he's got that solid jab, a sneaky right hand, and he can be explosive. but the success he had early in his career isn't carrying over as he moves up in competition. He didn't dominate Ozdemir like he did with his previous opponents, and now he's facing Blachowicz, a guy with some serious underrated defense. Blachowicz checks everything. He's tough to kick clean. It's hard to hit his body too. Even Israel Adesanya, one of the best strikers in the sport, was whiffing on punches all night. That's what people forget about Blachowicz. Yeah, he's got that hunchback stance and that plotty movement, but when he lets his hands go, he's deceptively fast. But that's the thing. If Ozdemir made it a close fight, I don't see Ulberg beating Blachowicz. Blachowicz is better everywhere. He has a granted chin. And people forget, Alex Pereira landed a clean shot on him. But not once did he even walk. He was gassed, hands high, absorbing those shots, and they didn't affect him. The only time Blachowicz has ever been knocked out was when he literally ran into Thiago Santos' bomb. Now, I think this fight obviously plays out as a striking battle. Maybe Blachowicz shoots a takedown at some point. He's crafty. He might mix it up. And for the most part, it's going to be a kickboxing fight. And Blachowicz's style ages well. He's not relying on quick, youthful movement. He's got that Muay Thai base, stationary, calculated, and everything he does, he lands and does some serious damage. That's why the judges favor him. I see this fight playing out with Ulberg having some early success, maybe winning the first round with sheer output, but as the fight goes, Blachowicz is going to start landing those leg kicks, countering him and taking over. I wouldn't be surprised if he mixes in a takedown here and there. Another thing that Blachowicz has going for him in this fight is his ability to turn it into more of a well-rounded battle. Ulberg is at his best when he can dictate the range and keep things clean, but Jan has a knack for making things messy in a way that benefits him. If he can get Ulberg into the clinch exchanges, lean on him, and force him to work in the grappling department, that's where things can start to tilt to his favor. Because we haven't really seen Ulberg tested in the grappling situation. His takedown defense seems solid, but he also hasn't fought a guy like Jan, someone who's sneakily good with his wrestling, especially his heavy top game, and the experience to grind guys down. If Jan can mix in his takedown attempts, even just to make Ulberg think about it, that changes the striking exchanges. Even if Ulberg has to worry about the level change. If Ulberg has to worry about the level change, it makes him less comfortable letting his hands go freely. Another thing is Jan's ability to fight in the pocket. People think of him as the slow, plotty guy, but when he does decide to engage in close range, his counter shots are nasty. He doesn't just throw single strikes. He fires off tight combinations that can be really effective against a guy like Ulberg, who tends to fight at more measured, kickboxing pace. If Ulberg is expecting Jan to just stand at range and slowly throw, he might just get caught off guard when Jan actually blitzes in with a combination. Personally, I think this fight is going to start with Ulberg looking sharp early. He's going to come out fast, using his speed and his footwork to stick in and move, maybe land some clean shots while Jan takes his time getting into the fight. Ulberg's probably going to win the first round just on volume and movement alone, making Jan look a bit slow, but as the fight goes on, Jan is going to start making those small adjustments. He's going to find a home for those leg kicks, start checking Ulberg, and slowly chip away at his mobility. By the second round, I think we'll see Ulberg slowing down just a bit, and that's when Jan starts to take over. Maybe he lands a heavy counter, maybe he clinches up and makes Ulberg work more than he wants to. By the third round, I think Jan is going to be in full control. Ulberg's movement won't be the same, and Jan will start landing those signature power shots. Big left hooks, solid body kicks, maybe even a sneaky takedown to really seal the deal. I don't think it'll be a dominant performance from start to finish, but by the end of the fight, I see Jan winning a clear 29-28 decision, breaking Ulberg down as the fight goes. But it really just comes down to which version of Jan is showing up. If he's sharp, making reads, and mixing things up well, he can give Ulberg a lot of problems, but if he's hesitant or struggling with the speed early, Ulberg could start running away with it. It's one of those fights where Jan's experience and fight IQ are going to be a huge factor.